Frosted K, meaning Kelsey, set my brother up and had her brother pow him and say she didn't know he pow-powed my brother 5 times in the back, the stomach, and the chest.
Find him. They sent the little SWAT team with the little shit with the big iron. They came and he was taking his handcuffs. I told you that was wrong.
The Hood family dropped the phone recording with Kelsey Frost on the other end.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to see what is going on. I'm trying to figure out, why are you calling my business and asking me about my son? Baby. Like, I don't understand why you're even calling here. Your son and my son been having something going on. I can give you your son's phone number right now. I have the message. You said about my son, what? Your son and my son been having something going on. I just went through my son's phone and I just seen what the fuck I seen. Now, Rashida, don't make me clan. I can give you your son's phone number. I can send you messages, baby. I have it all. Okay, well, guess what, dude?
They say family protects family, but in Atlanta, one family might have protected their little too well. On August 8th, rising rapper T Hood was gunned down in his own home, and the story that followed is straight out of a reality TV nightmare. Police are calling it a domestic dispute, but T Hood's family, they're screaming setup, and the names at the center of it aren't just randoms. We're talking love and hip-hop royalty. Kirk Frost's children, Kelsey and Kai, accused of luring, covering up, and maybe even pulling the trigger themselves. Leaked phone calls, cryptic Instagram posts, and a missing brother have turned this case into one of the messiest scandals Atlanta has ever seen. So, was this really self-defense? Or did the Frost family orchestrate a cover-up worthy of primetime TV? August 8th was supposed to be just another summer night in Atlanta, but by the time the clock hit midnight, up-and-coming rapper T Hood was lying dead in his own home, 5 gunshot wounds in his back, stomach, and chest. Police rushed to the scene after what they described as a domestic dispute, but the second the news broke, the word dispute didn't sit right with anybody close to him. To his family, this wasn't some lover's quarrel gone wrong. This was a setup, and they're pointing fingers at one of Atlanta's most infamous reality TV families. Because this wasn't just anyone in the picture. At the center of the storm is love and hip-hop Atlanta royalty. Kirk Frost's children, Kai and Kelsey. Kelsey wasn't just a bystander. She was T Hood's girlfriend, the woman he trusted enough to share his home and his future with. But now, her name is being dragged as the one who lured him into the trap. And her younger brother, Kai? He's being named as the #1 suspect, the man who allegedly pulled the trigger. Suddenly, what looked like a private argument has blown up into a full-on murder mystery with reality TV's messiest family at the core. And if you think that's shocking, just wait until you hear what T Hood's family says went down that night. Within hours of the shooting, T Hood's sisters and mother went public, not with grief, but with accusations. They claim Kelsey Frost orchestrated the whole thing, setting up the man who loved her and delivering him straight into her brother's hands. According to them, Kelsey sparked the argument, then made the call that brought her brothers storming into the house. What happened next, they say, wasn't self-defense. It was an execution. The sisters allege that Kai fired 5 times into T Hood's body as he tried to escape, hitting him in the back, the stomach, and the chest. And if that wasn't chilling enough, they also claim the Frost family went into cleanup mode before the cops could even get there. Instead of dialing 911 immediately, the Frosts allegedly staged the scene, hid the weapon, and even helped one of the brothers disappear before the sirens arrived. The boldest accusation came straight from T Hood's sister, who posted on Instagram just hours after the shooting. Her words went viral in minutes. Frosted K set my brother up. She had her brother shoot him and says she didn't know he shot my brother 5 times in the back, the stomach, and the chest. Then they cleaned it up and hid the brother so police wouldn't find the weapon or him. The raw pain in that post lit social media on fire. And suddenly, the Frost family wasn't just dealing with private tragedy. They were facing a digital manhunt, complete with hashtags like #JusticeForTHood and #FindKaiFrost. The Frosts may have reality TV experience, but nothing could prepare them for this level of public outrage. And with T Hood's mother joining her daughters and calling it a calculated hit, the narrative was locked in. To the victim's family, this wasn't an accident. It was a setup carried out by the very people who should have been protecting him. Now here's where the story starts to unravel. The Frost family insists this was nothing more than a tragic domestic dispute. But when you dig into the timeline, things don't add up. And T. Hood's family says the holes in Kelsey's story are big enough to drive a truck through. For starters, there were hours between the initial argument and the actual shooting. According to T. Hood's sisters, whatever sparked the fight could have been defused. But instead, tensions dragged on, and somehow things escalated to the point of gunfire. That raises the first red flag. If Kelsey truly feared for her safety, why didn't she call 911 during the argument? Why wasn't there any emergency call to de-escalate the situation before blood was shed? Then comes the biggest question of all. How did both of Kelsey's brothers manage to arrive before the first responders? Witnesses say one of them was already living at the property, while the other pulled up mid-fight, ready for action. When paramedics finally arrived, one brother stayed at the scene, but the other, he allegedly ran off and hasn't been accounted for since. To T. Hood's family, that's not the behavior of someone standing in self-defense. That's the behavior of people scrambling to cover their tracks. And then there's the autopsy. According to his family, the wounds prove their case. 5 bullets, not just in the chest, but in his back and stomach, as if he was trying to get away when the shots rang out. They argue that those details destroy any self-defense narrative and paint a much darker picture. That T. Hood wasn't lunging. He was leaving. He wasn't a threat. He was running for his life. So when you stack the delayed call, the missing brother, and the autopsy together, the Frost family's version of events start to look less like an accident and more like a carefully managed story. And that's exactly why the internet wasn't buying the official police report. But if you thought Kelsey Frost was going to sit back and take the heat, think again. Just days after the accusations started flooding her Instagram, Kelsey broke her silence with an emotional post that split the internet right down the middle. In her statement, she called T. Hood the love of her life and described the entire situation as a nightmare she never could have imagined. She denied every claim against her, writing, "I didn't harm anyone or ask anyone to harm him. I would never. The love of my life is gone. I'm sick to my stomach, and I don't even have time to grieve because I'm defending myself against these sick rumors." Alongside the caption, she shared one of the most intimate photos she could find of her and T. Hood together, painting the picture of a couple deeply in love, not enemies. Most importantly, she addressed the biggest accusation head-on, that she had called her brothers to intervene. Kelsey insists that's a lie. In fact, she claimed the only call she made that night was to T. Hood's mother. "I didn't call my family for help. I didn't call a brother. I didn't call anyone but his mother," she wrote, trying to shut down the narrative that she orchestrated a trap. But instead of clearing her name, the internet reaction was brutal. While some fans flooded her comments with messages of support, others dragged her for saying too much, too soon. The top-liked response under her post was sharp. "Now, first off, you should have listened to your lawyer's advice." Another user reminded everyone that phone records don't lie, writing, "The police can see exactly who you called. Let them do their job." The split was immediate. To some, Kelsey was a grieving girlfriend being unfairly attacked while mourning. To others, she was a skilled manipulator playing the victim to protect her family. And every post, every tearful defense, only fueled the fire further. Because if Kelsey didn't call her brothers, the question still stands. How did both Frost boys manage to be at the house before the police? And if she did, how long can she keep denying it before the receipts come out? If the accusations weren't wild enough, T. Hood's family decided to double down with what might be the most damaging receipts yet. Recorded phone calls with Kelsey herself. In one of the leaked audios, you can hear Kelsey's voice, strained, defensive, and desperate to get her side across. But instead of clearing things up, the conversation raised more questions than it answered. At one point, Kelsey admits something shocking. Her brother Kai was actually handcuffed by police that night, but then mysteriously released. That one detail sent the internet into chaos. How does someone allegedly connected to a shooting get cuffed and then walk away without charges? And if, as Kelsey insists, she never called him into the fight, why was he the one being detained at all? The family pressed her on the call. If she truly thought Kai was innocent, why did she keep bringing up the fact that he was let go as if that alone proved his innocence. To T. Hood's sisters, the leaked audio was proof that Kelsey was hiding something. As one of them put in a caption under the clip, "If Kai was cuffed, then he was guilty. How he walked free is the real question. She's protecting him." The recordings lit up blogs, Twitter threads, and TikTok breakdowns. Some listeners claimed Kelsey sounded cornered, scrambling to convince the family she had no role. Others swore you could hear her slip up, accidentally revealing that she knew more than she was saying. Either way, the fact that she acknowledged Kai had been detained but somehow walked free only poured gasoline on an already blazing fire. Because now the public wasn't just questioning the Frost family. They were questioning the police. Who pulled the strings that night? Who had the power to make a handcuffed suspect disappear from custody? The more you dig into the Frost family dynamics, the messier it gets. Both brothers were tied to that house the night of the shooting, but in very different ways. Kai, the younger brother, was reportedly living with Kelsey and T. Hood at the time. Friends say he was the protective sibling, always hovering close, stepping in whenever he thought his sister needed backup. To some, that paints a picture of a worried brother trying to keep Kelsey safe. To others, it sounds like a powder keg waiting to explode. A man with front-row access to his sister's relationship drama, ready to jump in whether she wanted him to or not. Then there's the older brother. Well, I didn't live under the same roof. Word is he had a spot nearby and was quick to show up when things escalated. Witnesses claim he was there the night of the shooting, but here's where the story fractures. In one version, Kai is the sole shooter, lashing out in the heat of the moment. In another version, the older brother is the real trigger man, and the Frost family scrambled to protect him because of his criminal record. That rumor alone has the internet buzzing. If the older brother had priors, it would explain why one stayed while the other allegedly fled before police showed up. It would also explain why Kelsey's family might have tried to clean up the scene, hiding evidence, shielding the brother with the most to lose. And with no official charges sticking to either sibling so far, the speculation only grows louder. Was Kai a loyal brother defending his sister, or the execution-style shooter the autopsy seems to describe? And was the older brother just a witness, or the real gunman who vanished before the cops arrived? What we know for sure is this. Two brothers, two conflicting stories, and a grieving family who insists the truth is being buried. If the family drama wasn't enough, the internet made sure this tragedy became a full-blown cultural firestorm. Within hours of the leaked calls and accusations, hashtags started trending. Hashtag Justice for T. Hood and hashtag Find Kai Frost. Twitter threads dissected every second of Kelsey's Instagram posts. TikTok detectives replayed the audio with captions like, "She slipped up here," and "This proves she's lying." But the internet wasn't united. Some felt deep sympathy for Kelsey, insisting she was a grieving girlfriend unfairly painted as a villain. Others compared her to the backlash PNB Rock's girlfriend faced after his murder, accused of setting him up when she might have just been a victim herself. And then came the boycotts. Angry fans started tagging Frost family businesses, promising not to spend another dollar at Rashida's boutique or Kirk's ventures. Even love and hip-hop. Atlanta started catching strays, with people calling for the Frost to be cut from the show entirely. The court of public opinion had spoken. This wasn't just a private family tragedy anymore. It was a referendum on the Frost legacy. Just when it seemed like the drama had reached its peak, gossip blogger Sean Davey Way dropped a bombshell theory that sent shockwaves through the internet. His claim? Maybe this wasn't just about Kelsey at all. Maybe the real tension was between T. Hood and Kai. According to Sean, whispers of a secret relationship had been circulating for years. He dug up resurfaced 2017 rumors about Kai's sexuality, along with leaked photos that some fans claim showed a closeness between him and T. Hood that went beyond friendship. If true, the theory would flip the entire narrative. Suddenly, this wasn't a story of a protective brother defending his sister. It was a story of jealousy, betrayal, and double lives. Was Kelsey caught in the middle of something much deeper? Was the shooting less about a heated argument and more about a love triangle turned deadly? The speculation ran wild. Some fans swore it explained why the autopsy suggested T. Hood was shot in the back, as if he was leaving, not fighting. Others felt it was too far, accusing bloggers of exploiting grief for clicks. But one thing was clear. Sean's theory cracked the case wide open in the court of public opinion. To understand why this story exploded the way it did, you have to remember who we're talking about. The Frost family. Kirk and Rashida aren't just reality stars. They're one of love and hip-hop, Atlanta's most infamous power couples. Their messy on-screen history, cheating scandals, secret babies, public humiliation, has been playing out for a decade. So when news broke that their son Kai might be tied to a murder investigation, people didn't see it as an isolated incident. They saw it as the next chapter in a family built on scandal. Old clips resurfaced of Kirk dodging accountability, Rashida defending him through chaos. And fans began asking, has their fame been protecting their family all along? Critics are already whispering that the Frost empire could collapse if this case doesn't go away quietly. Their boutiques, their TV checks, even their reality TV relevance. All of it could crumble if Kai or Kelsey are officially linked to T. Hood's death. And that's what makes this story so chilling. There are still more questions than answers. Why do autopsy details suggest T. Hood was walking away, not attacking when the bullets hit? Who actually called the brothers to the scene that night? Was it Kelsey or someone else entirely? Where's the missing murder weapon? The one thing that could tie everything together. And maybe the most pressing question of all, is this going to end with handcuffs or just more headlines? At the center of this storm stands Kelsey Frost. To some, she's a devastated girlfriend who lost the love of her life. To others, she's a calculated trap who opened the door for his killers. And if the whispers are true, if jealousy, family secrets, and hidden relationships all collided that night, the fallout could destroy the Frost name forever. So we'll leave you with the question, is Kelsey Frost a grieving partner or the mastermind of a deadly setup? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over. And the truth, when it finally comes out, might just end an empire.